again, YouTube friends. This is a short-term review of the Hellion Dominus 10SC, the short course 1/10 scale truck that basically this is made for Hobbytown, USA. It has some downfalls, but for $200 you get what you pay for. The biggest setback that I saw when I first got it was, yeah, the motor, it was quicker than anything you can get at like Radio Shack or Walmart or anything like that, but it lacked a lot in the power department, especially when it came to torque. Here it is, and as by seeing this you can pretty much go ahead and tell I have something different in here. Yes. It's a brush motor. You can't change the brushes once they go out, so once this motor goes out, flip it in the trash can. I maybe put 4 or 5 runs on this motor, and another thing that sucks about this motor is it can only take 2-cell LiPo batteries or nickel metal hydride. And these nickel metal hydride get extremely hot, and they're big, they're heavy, they're bulky. So, as you can see, this is my old setup. And this is my new setup. I have a Castle Sidewinder version 3. The third version comes with a fan on top of the ESC because so many people complained about it overheating and going into the thermal shutdown to make sure nothing is damaged. So, very happy about that. I didn't even know that when I got it. Of course, I went with LiPo. You get more run time. I mean, I can run for 20 minutes and I still have 80% battery left. And that's usually on dirt, just flat ground. I haven't raced it yet. I'm basically, especially with a new motor, not only did I put a new motor in it, with a more powerful motor, you're going to want to put a slipper clutch in. But the cool thing about this is the ESC can actually be programmed. It has traction control, it has a launch setting, sort of like Ferraris and stuff like that, where basically you'll have more control, but I have it off and it literally spins all 4 tires and leaves black marks. So as of right now, I haven't replaced any parts except the motor and the slip and the clutch, the center differential. So I put in a slip clutch so I wouldn't grind teeth. But one thing I have noticed is the dog bones, especially over here. You can see that it's bent, but it has gone through some pretty tough crashes, because this and both of my front are slightly bent. But I have the universal axles to put in it. Here's one of them. But these, instead of 2 millimeters, they're 4 millimeters, and they're made out of a better metal. Basically, I'm waiting for those to either break or fall out. I'm not gonna put in a new part until the old part breaks. Another cool thing is when you take out your stock clutch, you'll notice that the spur gear actually has the imprint to put, you can use this spur if you end up blowing out your spur gear with the slip clutch. If it's too tight, the spur gear that comes with it, with the truck itself, is ready to be put, to have a friction plate put on it, and then sandwich the 2 washers between it and the spring and then the nut, and then you're going again. And so that was a pretty cool thing that I found. In another video, I think I already said this, I am going to show how to program the ESC. There's a lot of really cool features. Some of them can be plugged into the computer. This one can't. But overall, I'm very happy. Another one of the downsides I have found is I'm definitely going to have to get the aluminum rear hub carriers, because you can see how much play I have in the rear tires. And this is the worst of the two. This is actually, you know, that's not in the hub. That's the entire. And as you can see, that's loose. Just from learning, this is my first one. I'm learning. But so far, top speed close to 40 mile an hour, especially with the way I have it programmed. Run times around 45 minutes, honestly, seriously. With a 5,000 milliamp battery, with a 25C and a 50C burst, I really love the fact that it's four-wheel drive, but I could still lay down some pretty long, probably about that long, a good 3 feet of rubber tracks. And I saw that this morning because I hadn't messed with the programming. I was just driving it as it was. I calibrated it and I didn't mess with it. So I was just like, okay, let's try to figure this out. And this morning I did it, and it really does make an improvement, and it also makes it easier to drive. I added some thicker oil into the rear shocks, because when you get them, their rebound rate is extremely fast. And also I don't know what it's called when it gets shoved up real fast. That was also too fast, and I was bottoming out a lot, as you can probably tell. But the bottom's aluminum, so it's meant to take a beating. But overall, I'm just going part by part, seeing what's going to fail. And I know the parts that are going to fail from other people, so I go ahead and stock up on those parts for when they do fail. I won't have to order and then wait. I can just go ahead and swap the part out. That's why I already have the axles. I'm going to order some new rear hub carriers when I get the chance. But that's really all there is to say. The stock motor's nothing to write home about. The ESC can only take up to two cell lipos, which, I mean, with the Castle, I think it could take up to 3 or 4. I'm not exactly sure, so if I'm wrong, correct me. But I mean, that's basically it when it comes to this. It's a very simple layout. You got the motor right here, and then you got the spur gear, and then down the entire center you have your I guess you would call it your four-wheel drive shaft. I don't know the actual terms. And then you have your front and rear differential, just like a regular car, and I've actually already taken those apart, and they are the only part that is not metal is the very thick plastic housing, but it's thick enough that I have bashed on this thing as hard as I could, and it didn't break. The only thing that is, like I said, is getting loose is the dog bones and the rear hubs. But other than that, great truck, especially for the price. I wouldn't see why someone would buy the $280 version, especially when you can buy a motor that has so much more power for $120. And also, you would have the feeling of accomplishment of knowing that you put the motor in yourself. And that's the kind of person I am. I like to know that I did things myself. I know it was done right. It was done my way, so if something goes wrong, I'll know how to fix it. But other than that, there's really not much else to say, except there will be a video I don't know exactly when you hit. I just got over the flu, so yeah. I will be putting a video on about how to program the ESC and how to get to all the extra little features that basically give you more power, better traction. You can get rid of reverse. You can have crawler reverse, which basically you can be going forward and then hit reverse and it'll go into reverse, or you can have default is with reverse, which is after 2 seconds of the trigger being idle, it'll go into reverse. But if you if you're going in gas, if you're gassing it and then you go into reverse, it's just going to work as a brake. There's a lot of extra things built into this ESC, and I will show that in the next video. But this one is about the Dominus itself. So that's really all there is to say about it. I will say a couple things that I am very disappointed about. The motor mount plate is a piece of aluminum that damn thick. Nothing to write home about. So I ended up putting bigger screws with bigger threads that will eat into the metal more and grab, because the stock machine screws just strip right out, and that sucked. But thankfully I'm sort of a MacGyver, so I found a way to fix it. So that's it for this video. The next one is going to be how to program your ESC for a sidewinder, Castle Sidewinder version 3. So until then, peace.